My name's Nuhn. I'm a family medicine and addiction medicine physician at Ventura County Medical Center. I'm married to a wonderful woman named Whitney, a stepdaughter, Brooklyn, another little one on the way. And in my free time, I love playing music, and I also love reading. I grew up with two really loving parents. I think did their best when I was growing up to show me how much God loved me and raised me going to church every week and helped me, I think from a really young age, to know that Jesus was real. In my teenage years, my parents started to emotionally struggle. They didn't really tell me what was going on with it at the time, but asked me to be a mediator when they were considering getting divorced. I was a teenager. I didn't know how to be a mediator or a counselor to my parents. And so it left me feeling confused, and that led me to really distance myself from them and ended up joining a Christian band. We were heading out on tour, even some of the summers during my high school years. And so that ended up providing a lot more, I think, stability and mentorship. And that really led to the next 7 or 8 years of music every day and touring around the country. I tried to go to college. College did not go well. I failed, I think, every class except Intro to Psychology. The eventual GPA was a .18. The only income I had was the income from the band, which was sometimes $200 or $300 a month. I ended up living in the back of my car, just trying to make ends meet. We had been touring with quite a few well-known acts. I had been traveling through Nashville and recording and really saw a lot of kind of the Christian industry turning into an industry, and it really made me feel frustrated that it was about music and money and not about Jesus. I ended up walking away from that band. After that, I started working at Starbucks as a barista. I also found a job teaching in high school, teaching music, and got married. She was the younger sister of the lead singer of the band I had been in for years. Neither her or I were really equipped emotionally to understand how to walk through marriage well. Both of us just had this couple-year period where we were trying to figure out what's next. And I remember when I went to let my wife know, hey, I think I want to do pre-med and be a doctor. She seemed both confused and a little frustrated. She's like, that's what I want to do. We hadn't really fully talked about it. I had an advisor, he told me only about 30% of people who apply get into medical school, and with your record, it's going to be even harder. Somehow through that process, we did both get accepted to the University of Washington. Ended up achieving really highly in school and getting accepted to the same medical school. During the first year of medical school, she had an affair and our marriage broke apart, and she walked away from Jesus and walked away from our marriage. We ended up getting divorced, but then had to continue in medical school together, going to all the same classes, and it started leading into a darker period of my life. I felt really lonely and confused, and I found myself internally angry. A little later that year, the house that I was in burned down at 3 in the morning, and one of my roommates actually helped pull me out of the fire, save my life. It was right during finals week. I was supposed to take board exams, and it just felt like things were piling on over and over and over again. One morning, sitting on my couch in the darkness, just going, what is there here? Everything is gone. I remember very clearly that morning, God saying to me, do you think I'm good? There wasn't anything attached to it. He wasn't asking for anything from me. He just wanted to know. And in the midst of that, he promised me he was going to be with me and take care of me and bless my life. Near the end of medical school, I decided I wanted to do family medicine. And there was this place in Ventura, California. It's one of the #1 places in the country to train family doctors. I was really surprised and humbled that I was one of the graduates accepted to come here and train. Jumping into this job where I was working 80 hours a week every week, I definitely still would claim to be a Christian, but I think at times was not acting in ways that would line up with that. I was struggling to find a church, and it was at a period in my life where I was really feeling confused and lonely. Like, where was God in the middle of all of this? It really felt like I believed he was with me, but I didn't know where he was. That year ended up connecting me with Whitney. We started dating. We both thought it would be important that we go to the same church. She had been well established and been going to Rocky Peak, so we started attending Rocky Peak together. We actually joined one of the 2535 life groups together as well. She had been attending one. She brought me to that. In the middle of this reconnecting at church and things, Whitney and I decided to get married. God has really started to rebuild a community around me, starting with Whitney. I think life group has helped me to really re-engage with one of the parts of me that was nervous about community. Right now, Whitney and I are in a married life group, and we've found being around other young married couples has been really helpful and fulfilling for us as we navigate the fact that there are challenges in marriage. You don't really know if it's normal what you're going through with the struggles that we're having. Having people who walk through these stages of life alongside you really help make it not only easier to do, but help you feel like you're able to do it. You know, God takes these things that are broken and he really is not just putting them back together, but that he actually had something else planned all along. And really looking back, have found along the way that a lot of pieces of it that were falling into place was God really saying, here's something I designed you for. He has me doing exactly what he wants. Today he's teaching me that he's got it in all the ways that I try to control things. Whether it's in work as a physician, whether it's in my marriage, whether it's in becoming a new dad. It's not for me to figure it out and solve it, but that he's got it, and he promises that. And he fulfilled that promise.